Let's get to this. The fighting in the Middle East raging on. President Trump looking to keep energy prices under control as Iran tries to close the Strait of Hormuz, a major choke point for the global oil trade. The president writing on Truth Social that he's ordered the U.S. to provide political risk insurance for the financial security of all maritime trade, especially energy, adding the Navy will begin escorting oil tankers. Investors skeptical the conflict will spark a long-term disruption to markets. The Pentagon is talking in weeks, not months or years.
Iran cannot outlast us. We're going to ensure through violence of action and our offensive capabilities and our defensive capabilities, as I said, that we set the tone and the tempo of this fight. The only limits we have in this is President Trump's desire to achieve specific effects on behalf of the American people. And that's why we don't talk about, you can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 3. Ultimately, we set the pace and the tempo.
Okay, Larry, we didn't have any music for you to start the show, but I think right now the music for the U.S. Armed Forces in Iran and around Iran is a victory tune. Markets back today. Yeah. Okay, oil had come down a little bit, stocks are up. What do you make of all of it?
Well, just on the markets, I mean, I would say relative to wartime, the markets were very calm. And the sell-off in stocks and the increase in oil prices, but really compared to other situations, this was very, very calm. And it's a great sign. Look, our military might is unrivaled. We are destroying Iran and the Iranian leadership, as we must do, because it's not a forever war. The forever war was Iran going after the United States for 47 years. Yeah. And President Trump is ending that forever war. And in effect, in my view at least, he's saving the Middle East for freedom and prosperity, but he's basically saving Western civilization as he substitutes whatever's going to happen in the end game in Iran. So I think it's great. And as Pete Hegseth said, the timetable will be whatever the timetable will be. The military knows what it's doing. The CENTCOM report was excellent, clear, and you just can't ask for anything more. And all this nonsense, I mean, honestly, Democrats talking about forever war, not realizing the forever war is Iran versus the United States, and Israel too, but a stupid point. I mean, Mark Penn's article in the Wall Street Journal today was spot on, former Clinton advisor and great pollster. Trump is rearranging the architecture of the entire world system. That's what he's doing. Trump is changing history. That's what he's doing. And the big losers here are China and Russia, and the big winners are the United States.
Can I ask you a question?
With Israel, I'll say, in the Middle East, but I'm not going to include Europe. I'm not going to include that. Look what Trump is doing, not only in the Middle East, he's doing it in the Western Hemisphere, most particularly South America, with the Venezuelan story. He's making China taking a look at our military might, as Jackie said, our epic military might. Take a look at that and our intelligence capabilities, and they are going to have to think 5 times longer about invading Taiwan or the Philippines or any of the other mischievous things that they're trying to do to thwart us. And Russia's I mean, by the way, in China, we'll have to pay market prices for oil, not a 40%.
Finally. Can I ask you a question?
And then just the last one on Russia. Right. Iran has an arms manufacturer for Russia. Okay, the drones and other stuff. Well, that game's over. I mean, I had General Keane on last night. There's no manufacturing left in Iran. Okay, so this is a phenomenal thing that President Trump has done. And, I think Democrats who are opposing this for the sake of opposing it, or he's complying with the War Powers Act, it makes no sense. And the American people, when they see this thing in its fulsome played out, they will support it enormously. You wait and see.
Come on in, Taylor.
Sorry,
Okay.
Taylor.
No. I love the riffs. I'm just eager to pick your brain more,
Please.
which is why I wanted to jump in.
I'll do the best I can.
We've been sitting on this program and sort of talking about, I don't want to say Europe is dying, but Europe's going the socialism way. They're slow to react. I was joking that over the weekend, someone in Europe said, okay, well, we'll reconvene on Monday, given the events on the weekend. There's no urgency. There's no innovation. There's no capitalism. Brian brought up a really interesting point yesterday. Does this neutralize Europe? And if we're looking at freedom and prosperity in the Gulf states, is that a new engine of economic growth? And then we don't think about Europe as much? Are they a new trading partner? I mean, if Iran can go back to what it used to be 47 years ago, and you have the UAE, you have Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, is that what we should be thinking about when you think about the new world order?
Yes, I like that. I like the whole thought process there because, you know, I was a party to the Abraham Accords. I mean, Jared Kushner was the lead with some others, but we were all working on it together. The key was trade and investment. Trade and investment. Security and military stuff was really not the big issue. Diplomacy was, but that's what they did. So, to your point, if you get rid of the war pariah, the great assassin, Iran, just get rid of them, okay, and replace it with some, the possibilities, freedom will breed prosperity. The possibilities are almost limitless. And, you know, you've got some leaders there in the countries you mentioned, MBS, probably, you know, Saudi leader, whatever. They want to come into the 21st century. The Abraham Accords will expand enormously, and you probably wind up with this massive free trade zone that will include massive investment. The United States will invest in it, and they're investing in the United States. After all, I believe that was Trump's first trip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
With a lot of bacon about a year ago or whenever it was. You know, and big investment numbers from these countries. So the answer is yes. The prosperity potential is limitless in the Middle East. And yeah, Europe will fall behind. Not every country, but the big countries in Europe, unfortunately, are basically socialists, and they can't get out of their own way because socialism does not breed prosperity. It doesn't. It never has, and it never will.
Well, and Dagan, you made the point. You know, Trump made that trip last year, secured, at least on paper, a lot of investment commitments. Given how much we're going to spend on what's happening in Iran, it's a really good reason to go back to those countries and say, we've done a lot for you. Those commitments plus more, those need to be solid at this point.
Yeah, I would say it and leave it to President Trump that you have to factor in the president potentially going to these very rich Middle Eastern nations and saying, okay, you're going to help us pay for some of this. But one thing at play, and Larry, pardon me, but Russia manufactures all of its own drones now. It started doing that a few years ago. The microelectronics come from China, but the Shahed drones that it used to buy from Iran, it no longer does. It manufactures them in-house, started in 2022. I know that from Dan Hoffman, backed up by research. So Russia has full access to the drones it needs to continue to wage war against Ukraine with China's help. The issue, one of the things at play, though, is if you watch longer-term treasuries, and although the treasury market has been relatively calm, you have not had a flight to safety there. You have had a bit of selling in the 10-year, and even if you look at the 30-year, that longer-term interest rates have gone up slightly. They're low, but it's because of the debt issue of how much money will the U.S. spend in this war, however long it lasts. The 30-year is still, again, well in check, not even close to 5%. But that's the caution. Also, why would then the stock market react positively? Because, and I don't want this to sound ugly, but this is stimulative. It's deficit spending. You're borrowing money to spend it on munitions, which are manufactured here in the United States. That's always been, you would hear that argument from people in politics sometimes, that it's good for the economy.
Wartime Keynesianism.
Right. And that's conservatives, too. That was always the argument they made about sending weapons to Ukraine. I don't like it, but that's why one of the reasons the stock market might not be selling off so dramatically.
Yeah, well, color me skeptical on that one because, I mean, first, we're in, what, day 5 now? Yeah, day 5. So we'll see how long it goes. If it goes a month or so, I mean, if it went a year, probably deficit spending would be, more of a factor. I don't think this is going to go anywhere near a year. So I don't know. I mean, Joe Biden and the Democrats put 200 some odd billion into Ukraine. That's 200 billion. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near that. Okay, we will have to replenish some things. Dagan, I'll have to do some more research, but some generals don't completely agree with you about Russian arms. But that's a side issue.
I just said drones. That's it.
The fact is that the entire world landscape is being reordered.
Yeah.
And this is like Trump is rewriting history in our time, and he will be the most, if this thing works or even nearly works, he will go down as one of the most important and consequential presidents in American history. Okay? I mean, right? I'm just thinking, okay, just to have some fun. Yes, FDR stopped fascism in World War II. I didn't like his economic policy, but he did stop it. Reagan ended communism, which is amazing. Trump ended, terrorism in Syria and so forth. Now he's come back to destroy Iran. If you throw in Abe Lincoln and George Washington, I got my top 5 right there.
All close friends of yours, too.
Well, I worked for 3 of them. But
Watch it, Brian.
But I couldn't be. I couldn't quite get.
All right.